everybody. It's Jack McCullough again. Really excited today. I have Mindy Barker, who's the president of Barker Associates. Mindy, thanks for joining me today.
I'm so happy to be here.
And you're a longtime member from the Jacksonville chapter, and you've been on the steering committee almost since there's been a steering committee, I think it's fair to say.
Correct. Yes, I've been very involved with the Jacksonville chapter.
Yeah, and that's great. And you'll be speaking at our New Hope conference in June, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But first of all, I know you work with a lot of different clients, and unless you had a crystal ball, you couldn't have seen COVID coming. But what are some of the leadership challenges that you've faced in working with your clients over the past year?
So getting everyone to get comfortable working remotely, I think was a challenge for everyone. I think particularly for me, when the COVID first hit, I was actually working for a client out of town. And I had talked to them several times about working remotely. And they had said, oh no, we definitely need you in the office. We definitely need to have you physically here. So I was like, okay, so you're paying all my travel costs to go there. When the pandemic hit, like there was no choice. I had to work remotely. So I had to start working with a client who absolutely had um, no idea how to do this remotely, and teaching them how to use Teams and Zoom and all the different products so that we could communicate. And we were actually closing a deal March 31st.
Oh my
And
goodness. So,
yes, we were closing a deal March 31st, and we had to all learn how to coordinate effectively. And the other thing that happened was that the CARES Act came out on March 28th, which changed the economics of the deal, the way it was structured. And we had to somewhat renegotiate the deal in order to get it closed on March 31st, which was the target. So all of that, while we were learning new technology, required a lot of patience, a lot of hard work. And we got through it and we got it done.
wow, yeah, no pressure there on March 28th to the 31st, none whatsoever, huh? So,
Right.
well, the last year has been a learning experience like we could never have anticipated it. No one would have wished it, but nonetheless, we learned we did. We probably developed some approaches and skills that we didn't see coming. But any key takeaways for you, things you've learned that you're going to be able to use going forward?
Well, I think that even for myself, working with clients and contractors and my team, as we're working on various projects, I learned to use Asana and project management and all the online tools more effectively, way more effectively, and even learned how to use Loom and record myself doing certain things to train people how to do things. And that definitely has helped me be able to scale better and to provide information to all the stakeholders who are working on a project with me. My mind tends to go 1,000 miles an hour. And sometimes I'm 100% convinced I have communicated something and maybe I haven't. So
Yeah.
I've made myself be more disciplined to provide information through those channels. And actually it works out well, because then I avoid the last minute somebody calling me, I never got this, or I don't understand what you want, because I am being more clear with information ongoing. But I will say that as I've talked to mentees and accounting professionals all over the country, that some of that hasn't happened. It's been very frustrating for people to be working at home, especially if they're at a lower level and they really don't know what's going on or what's next, or that sort of thing. So if you haven't worked with project software and that sort of thing, or have a really good month-end checklist that people can follow, I suggest you get it immediately.
Yeah, it is remarkable the technology that's available, right? I mean, even 20 years ago,
Right.
if this happened then, I don't know what we would have done. And I'm not just talking about Zoom, although that's a big part of it, but all those things like Asana, it's just a
Right.
lifesaver, just you can just keep each other organized and stuff. So,
Right. And Slack and instant messaging and Teams, and just all of it has just been very helpful as we've gone through the pandemic. And you're right. I don't know what we would have done 20 years ago, but even with that, I mean, you hear stories of people, accounts payable clerks delivering paper checks to people's front door. And
oh, yeah.
especially at the beginning, whenever we didn't want to touch our public shopping bags, they would leave them in boxes, and then the CEO or whoever needed to sign it would wait a few hours before they went to get the box to sign it, and that sort of thing. So I hope those people are getting some automated payment systems.
Yeah, I hope so too. But it was, I mean, it was sort of like The Walking Dead the first few weeks, right? So, and
Right.
I remember like I was coming and, you know, we're a small company. I still got to meet payroll. So I was driving to the office anyway and going through, I'm in one of those executive suites. So there's like 50 people, but I was going through the entire mail bin because there's no way to sort it letter by letter, you know, hoping that there was a check that I could cash. And in fact, there were. So thank you to my customers. But it's like that was as close to The Walking Dead as I've ever gotten, I think. So.
Right.